Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 50-50 podcast. My name is Connor,
I'm Tyler.
and today we'll be talking about basketball in the state of Wisconsin. For the first time in a while, we are recording. First time in a while. First time in years, we are recording in the same room. We usually do our stuff over Discord. It's been quite some time we've been together and recording.
Yeah.
And also for the first time, I have him on the Quick 50 live from my dining room. So
Can you say face reveal?
true. So coming off of two pretty big L's last night, do you have any notes for either game?
I guess for Wisconsin, because I had both games going simultaneously, so it's pretty tough to kind of keep track of both and have a critical eye at times. But with Wisconsin, at least, Reavers and Potter seemed super timid, especially to go inside. And I was afraid after Potter got called for what, in my opinion, probably was a little bit of a weak charge call. He got even more intimidated to go inside, whether it was being scared mentally of the roughing that was going to come his way, or if he just didn't want to risk getting into foul trouble, which he ended up getting into later. So that was the biggest thing I noticed. Obviously, I had stats of the game written down that I'll bring up, but my stats for the night were Trice was 2 of 10 from the field, 2 of 8 from beyond the arc. They shot 24.1% from 3, and Zach Edey scored 21 points, kind of a coming out party. And something I saw on Twitter, which I say take with a grain of salt, but I still respect the man in general, is the voice of the Badgers, the guy who does the PA, Bob. He had a tweet go out saying that Edey had traveled a lot and the refs weren't calling it. I didn't really have time to go back and watch the film because I was writing down my notes after both games, and then I went to bed and I woke up and drove here. So, but those are some of the biggest things I notice, and little things I notice, and it's same things with Tyler Wall. It's like he does all the little things right. He knows how to get rebounds. He can score at times when nobody's able to get a shot to sink, and the whistles were popping off, as Jake Kind would say last night. So
True. Yeah, and I guess for the Bucks game, I'll take it from there. No early Thanasis minutes. I'm not going to lie. No early Thanasis minutes might have lost us the game. They brought in Torrey Craig. He proceeded to go 0 for 3 in 6 minutes and then get taken out of the game. So that was kind of rough, even though I do love Torrey Craig. But no early Thanasis minutes might have lost us that game. No cap. Because Giannis got into early foul trouble. He had two fouls like 10 minutes into the game. We definitely could have used a spark plug off the bench. That would have been really nice. But no early Thanasis minutes. And also we shot like garbage and we had a lot of TOs. And we're coming off of a 2-day break, yep. So it's not like rust, but it's we haven't played in a while. And then Denver's coming off a back-to-back, and it's not really an advantage, but it's kind of an advantage when you're playing a team who hasn't played in 2 days. So and Jokic balled out because he's the MVP. So,
one thing I did see was I think Denver had 40 points in the paint last night,
yep. And
when Bud's defense is based all around not allowing points in the paint because it's called the drop defense because you drop back. That's a little pathetic to say the least. So I know people have been harping on Lopez a lot, but I think the biggest issue with points in the paint was probably Bobby Portis getting into foul trouble pretty early. So.
Yep, and that's why Bobby isn't the best defender. That's why we usually like to pair him out there with Giannis or a guy like Torrey Craig who can, rotate and bump in the paint. But, yeah, I like your note for they didn't shoot that many threes. That is true. Anyway, so transitioning into the main source of content here, Badger basketball. We're going to talk about the season in general and kind of the outlook of the season, the future of the season. So in terms of highest highs and lowest lows, as in when we're playing at our best / when we're playing at our worst, are we the most inconsistent team in college basketball?
In one word, yes. Jesse Temple, I think, was the one who tweeted it out, and I know he's probably mentioned it on The Swing, his podcast, but yes, we are the most inconsistent team in college basketball, period. I don't think there's any other team that I would throw in that category, really. Just because we know what this team is capable of. It's been the story of two teams this whole year. Whether, you're comparing the first half of the season where they looked a lot like that 13-14 team.
Yep.
They knew where everybody's going to be at times. They were passing the ball really well. Off-ball screens were working really well. I mean, defensive rotations were on point. And then, you get into the later half of the year where you don't know what team is going to show up in what half, I guess.
True.
So it's like going back to that 18-19 season where going into the tournament, you don't know which team you're going to get, unfortunately. And I went back and looked at some of the old Badger teams last night, and if I had to make a comparison to an older team, I think I wrote down the 08-09 team, who was a second round exit, if I remember right, or the 12-13 team would also be another good comparison.
Yep.
Who actually went pretty far in the Big Ten tournament.
Yes.
They made it to the championship game, lost to Ohio State, but then got knocked out first round against Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
That was a tough loss, to say the least.
But yeah, no, I agree. We probably are the most inconsistent team. I think on the offensive side of the ball is our biggest discrepancy. Mm-hmm. Our defense has been pretty solid all year, besides maybe some paint defense. But the offense is either gelling really well, or you get possessions where Micah Potter gets it on the block and then kind of just stands there until he either turns the ball over or shoots. And it's just like Wisconsin offense shouldn't be this stagnant. I mean, granted, we're not going to be out there scoring 80 a game, but it seems like Wisconsin offense is.
My bad.
Wisconsin offenses always have an answer for stagnation, and it seems like this team doesn't. Either Micah Potter shoots up a bad shot off the block, or Dimitri Trice is shooting a three, and that's the entire offense. There's no other options.
Yeah, and to add to the inconsistency of that, you go back and look at the earlier games in the year. You had everyone contributing on the offensive side of the ball. Brad Davison he was still being Brad Davison a little bit, where he was, trying to force a couple shots that he probably shouldn't be. But even the announcer last night on ESPN2 has been saying the same thing I've been saying for a while, and is that this team is getting good looks at the basket.
Yep.
That's the Wisconsin offense, is to create an efficient look and work the shot clock if you have to. But they just aren't falling at times. They do take some bad shots. Like, there's a couple shots by Brad Davison last night that were pretty terrible. I'll call out Trice too. I know there's one bad shot, but I have more faith in Trice making a contested shot than I do Brad Davison. So, I'll let it slide. But I do notice it at times. And there's a couple times where Reavers passed the ball when he should have taken the shot. I think that was earlier in the game where he was right at the top of the key. He's wide open. He's passing the ball. I'm like, Reavers, what are you doing, buddy?
I think it's safe to say that Reavers' confidence on the year has just completely gone.
Yeah.
The man just forgot how to play basketball overnight. The Monstar stole his power. He can't. Whew, it's bad. All right, follow-up question to that one. Does our age have something to do with the inconsistency?
Yes. I would say the inconsistencies comes down to a lot of things. But it definitely plays a factor because this team is so used to having, and you can harp on me all I want, but I know on this show we've always talked about how momentum in sports is a big thing. And this team has played with a crowd behind them for their entire lives.
True.
Not to say that, the freshman that came in, Jonathan Davis, hasn't, but they're used to having those Big Ten crowds in the building. And there are a couple of games where, that Illinois game at home, crowds there, we probably win that game.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Michigan game where they came back from a double-digit deficit. And it's, speaking of Michigan, I want to get this out too. I think the biggest gut punch for, I guess this kind of goes relating to what we're talking about too as well. Sorry, my mind's jumping everywhere. Sorry, I'll get back to the point. But that big gut punch from Michigan early in the season, I think, broke down a lot of the seniors because they so before that they had lost to Maryland, and I think that was their only loss on the year, and that was at home, and that's one of those where you can kind of swallow because you know how good the Big Ten is going to be this year.
Yep.
And it's going to be a bloodbath every night. But losing by, I think it was 30 or 40 points to Michigan.
Yeah.
Even though it's on the road, still like that can do a number on you. So I think that game and then going on and losing to Penn State a couple games later, really hurt the confidence of a lot of players on the team.
I agree. I also have a notable momentum here, but I have a statistic because you know me and statistics. So this is before last night's game. We were coming off a loss, right?
Yep.
All right. So now, after losses, we were 7-2 on the year. After losses, after wins, we were 7-8. That is a huge tell that these seniors don't get as hype and don't bring the momentum as like a younger group of guys would. Younger guys get a win, they feeling good, they're gonna go. These older guys, they're gonna get a win, they're gonna be like, well, we've been here before, so we might as well just go to practice, play the next game, and the momentum's not gonna be there. So I definitely think our age is also due to our inconsistency.
Yep.
7-8 off of wins. We're negative off of winning games. Think about that. Oh my, oof.
I'd like to know how many of those games off of wins where there were like big stretches of not playing, because we beat Northwestern, and then you don't play Illinois for like 5-6 days.
Yeah,
it was like a Sunday game, and then you didn't play Illinois till Saturday.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Next question: what adjustments can be made before the tourney time?
I know Greg Gard talked again about not micromanaging shots, but I think he needs to really emphasize getting looks inside. Even though you may be timid especially against a team like Iowa where you have Luka Garza. And I know Potter and Reavers both had a terrible time with Kofi during the Illinois game.
Oh, yeah.
But the dude's listed at 285. He's probably more like 295.
Yep.
And you're Reavers and you're listed at 235, and I think Potter's somewhere around like 245. So you got a big physical guy who Wisconsin bigs have always seemed to struggle with because we tend to have tall, lanky bigs.
Yep.
I think our last pure physical big was probably Jared Berggren, and that was his senior year was 2012, 2013.
Yeah, I would say
so. They've had trouble defending inside, but again, they need to attack inside, whether it's with a big or whether it's Jonathan Davis making a backdoor cut and Trice hitting him.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I agree that we're struggling against large bigs, and I think space on the floor would be huge for us. I think if we just bring those bigs out of the paint, like you said, just attack the paint more with backdoor cuts, on-ball screens, driving to the basket, and we just stretch the floor, because it's not like Micah Potter and Nate Reavers can't hit threes. They're definitely capable of doing it. So I think stretching the floor on the offensive side and allowing the players to play more freely, kind of out of the swing system, would be beneficiary. And also, like you said, micromanaging shots. If guys are taking dumb shots, I don't care if it's a senior season, pull them from the game. You're getting the younger guys more experience, and the seniors are going to learn that they need to stop taking dumbass shots.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough because you have such a shortened bench this year compared to what you were expecting earlier in the season. So you had Bowman pulling out for personal reasons, and then Carlson goes down with that upper body injury, and they decided to let him rest the entire year. So your bench is already shortened coming in.
Yeah.
And it got shorter when Anderson went down. So, and we saw what's left over on the bench, but yeah, it's tough to pull those guys when you don't really have much, to replace them with.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, and Trice, I forgot to mention this too. Trice kind of picked up on that last night with getting what's his last name? But his first name Zach Edey out of the paint. When they're playing an offense, Trice got him to come out and respect Potter. And, Potter, I think, ended up making a layup, or it was Ford. But they got someone inside, and Trice knew what he was doing. Saw it coming from a mile away. So credit to Trice for kind of picking up on that.
Yeah. Another thing we could try to do is something that like Iowa and Illinois is doing right now, where we have the big man bring the ball up and we kind of facilitate through him, whether it be through like a screen from a guard and then a cut from that said guard, or the big man just dumping it off from the top and then setting a screening or cutting immediately, like faking the screen, doing some kind of off-ball action from the other side. It's just The offense is stagnant, and it needs to be changed. And I think stretching the floor would help. But anyway, miscellaneous thoughts on the season.
I mean, man, the Big Ten's super tough.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You have two of the best players in the country.
Yep.
You have Io from Illinois, and you have Luka Garza from Iowa. It's gonna be a bloodbath down the stretch. I don't know what's gonna happen in the Big Ten tournament. I don't know what's gonna happen with Iowa on Sunday. You can see I'm sporting my Wisconsin hockey jersey, so you know who the real sports team is at the school.
Damn right.
But other than that, I mean,
Hockey school.
Baylor looks beatable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
West Virginia was able to get them to overtime,
Yep.
but ended up losing. But other than that, I don't think I have much else to say. I wish Gonzaga and Baylor played earlier in the year.
That's true. Go Zags. This is our year. Anyway, my miscellaneous thought is I never want to see Brad Davidson play basketball ever again. Last night in the clutch, like after a minute down, I've never seen that man fall apart the way he did. He had that just terrible pull-up jumper from like 28 feet, and then he just bricked it. And then the last possession where we scored, where who got the offensive rebound and then put it back up for two?
I believe that was Tyler Wall, wasn't it?
I don't remember, but someone got an O board and then put it up, and Davidson, instead of guarding his guy, because that either way we're not going to get that rebound, he goes up to try to get the tip and layup, misses the rim by about 3 feet, and then they quickly inbound the ball to Davidson's guy because he's not guarding him, because he's trying to go for a tip and layup when you're down by 2 with 5 seconds left. What are you doing? Either that shot goes in and you lose, or the shot goes out and you lose, or the shot goes in and you have a chance. So go play defense.
Yeah, he has such that boneheaded mentality on offense sometimes. But like when it comes to defense, like I'll take Brad Davidson over anyone any day. Like that dude can lock down someone like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But inconsistency on offense, I can't wait for that to be gone.
Yeah. Okay. So final question regarding the Badger basketball: how far are we going to make it in both tournaments?
Whew. So I did a little research. So it looks like for the Big Ten tournament, we'll get the 6 or 7 seeds, so we'll at least get one bye, which is nice.
There it is.
So 7 seed means we probably play Indiana. 6 seed means we probably play the winner of Minnesota, Nebraska. So I'm hoping for at least one win out of the Big Ten tournament. That would be nice. Making it to the making it out of, I think that's the quarter. No, that making it to the quarterfinal round would be nice.
5th,
6th. Honestly, don't see them making it to the semis because it's Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, and Illinois, who are so top heavy in this conference.
Yeah.
That being said, Illinois blew Michigan out of the water
Yeah,
last night.
without AO.
Anything can happen in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But I just don't see the consistency there, and because I don't see the consistency there, I don't really see him making it past the quarterfinals, to be honest, which sucks, but that's just how it is this year. And then NCAA tournament, man, I'd like to see them win one. I'd like those seniors to have one NCAA win.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fair.
But in all honesty, again, until I see them get that fire and that confidence back, get that swagger. I think I got my swagger back. Once I see that back, I don't know, man. They're projected to be like a 7 seed or a 6 seed in the NCAA 2.
Are you saying first round exit right now?
They're gonna be facing a tough mid-major. I think Drake was a name thrown around there, and I know how much Eric, friend of the show, loves Drake. It's going to be real interesting down the stretch, but I really am hoping to make it to the round of 32. That would be nice. I mean, honestly, I would cry tears of happiness if they made it to the round of 32 just for the boys.
Wow. First round exit prediction. Yikes.
Yeah.
All right. Mine was, like you said, 5th, 6th place in the Big Ten tournament. I originally predicted 3rd, 4th, and then I realized that we're bad. So, and come tourney time, I think we'll get a win. I think we'll get a big win in the first round and give us all hope, and then we're just going to shit our pants in the second round. So,
classic Wisconsin fashion.
Exactly. So, that's our predictions for... Oh, I originally predicted that we go to the Sweet 16. That's a... Whew, yikes. Anyway, on to the Bucks. So, in terms of high highs and low lows, are we the most inconsistent team in professional basketball?
Yes, question mark. Us, I mean, you could throw Denver in there, and you could probably throw the Phoenix Suns in there too.
Suns are second in the West right now, just so you know.
And I think they're now 9-0 when Frank starts.
I think so, yeah.
So shout out to Frank the Tank, miss you, buddy. But I think we're definitely one of those inconsistent teams in the NBA. But I don't know. It's a toss up between us and probably Denver, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe the Suns.
I'm gonna say no. Actually, I think when we play well, and even when we play bad, we still kind of play well. The defense is there half the time. I actually looked it up last night. We're only giving up the 22nd most threes in the league. So
Wow.
yeah. So we've actually been getting better at 3-point defense. But I think last night was just a stinker. I really don't think that's like consistent, considering we're coming off of a 5-game win streak. But here's a new statistic I found. Get ready for this. This is called the Pythagorean win-loss record.
Okay.
Pythagorean win-loss record. It basically takes all of your stats and normalizes them and then re-enters them back into games that we played. And according to the Pythagorean win-loss record, we would be 24-10 right now. Or I guess 24-11.
Okay.
Instead of 22-14 like we are or whatever we are.
Yeah.
So, because, I mean, we've had 3 or 4 losses by less than 3. And, like, you know, if Jason Tatum doesn't make that incredible bank shot in the first game of the year, or Giannis doesn't miss a free throw against the Nets, then yeah, we get those 2 wins. So I think the losses we have are kind of not really losses, because according to statistics, if you run the numbers, not losses. So I think the inconsistency is there sometimes, but I don't think we're the most inconsistent team in the league. I don't even think we're like bottom 5. You know, I probably put the Kings in there as inconsistent teams. They are terrible sometimes. Yeah. And other times, Tyrese Halliburton's out there dishing like 12 assists up, and De'Aaron Fox is hitting threes for some reason. Like, but yeah, that's just my take. Next question: what looks different in this win streak that's now over, the previous win streak of 5 games, compared to the loss streak that we had before the win streak of 5 games?
Chris Middleton was not turning the ball over.
True.
And he was shooting well.
True. I'm gonna say Drew Holiday, because Drew Holiday was gone.
Yeah.
Because he had the virus. Here's a stat. We love the stats here. Here's a stat I found. Drew Holiday has missed 10 games of the season because of COVID, health and safety protocols. So he has missed 33% of the season technically already. He already has 3 win shares on the season, and he's only played in 23 games. Not having him during that stretch of games we lost was so incredibly important.
It's amazing to see Bucks fans kind of do a 180 on his defense, because there were some people earlier in the season before when we like traded him for Bledsoe. They're like, yeah, on the offense he's going to help a little bit, but he's not going to be so great on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, those people were idiots.
Yeah,
so.
and if you watch any Pelly's basketball, you knew Drew could play some pretty damn good defense.
He was first team all defense 2 seasons ago. What are you people talking about? Anyway, yeah, so I just think having Drew Holiday back and having that like 3-headed facilitating monster that we have between him, Chris, and Giannis, when they can get their eyes up and get good shots because of it, and I think it really helps.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to have Brook Lopez be old Brook Lopez. So that would be nice. And I know Dante has been struggling a little bit too. Guy I follow on Twitter, and also a fan of Ty Windish.
Okay.
He's been pretty critical of Dante within good reason. I don't think he actually personally hates the guy. I think it's more just like there are games where he just doesn't look good out there. Yeah. He's not looking like a complete player like we thought he was, you know? So
you got to remember that he is a third year player now. Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't play his rookie year, but I think he'll develop into a good player. I'm always on the Dante train. If you ever go into the RMKE Bucks postgame threads and you see a guy who says "I love Dante" in all caps, that's always me. I got gilded one time. Somebody gave me Reddit gold for saying "I love Dante." I'm just saying. Any miscellaneous thoughts on the season?
Well, Chris Middleton needs to keep on being Chris Middleton.
I agree.
He needs to not turn the ball over, which he has been doing. I would really like for Lopez to bounce back because I like him a lot, but he just doesn't seem to have that confidence there. He's like he slowed down more than you would expect, which is weird. So I don't know if it's because they've been changing the way they play defensively on that side of the ball. Because I know Bud talked about changing that a little bit, kind of using a hybrid, but basically sticking to a base of a drop defense.
Yeah.
So whether that's him getting confused. I mean, I saw that with the Hawks players too when they played defense and they switched from Q system to JC Jeremy Colton's system, where it's a hybrid man zone. They were making decisions that would go against what Jeremy is preaching. So now we see that they are actually playing these in the system they're supposed to be playing in. So that could be a factor too, just getting mixed up between what Bud used to preach versus what he's saying now. And I'd like to see Diakite for a couple games.
Yes, I agree.
I
agree.
Say so.
The man is tearing it up in the G League, and obviously G League success doesn't translate to NBA success. But let's get a new face in there. Let's see how he does. It's not like we don't have a lot of games left. There's still 37 games left in the season.
I mean, Tony Bennett product too, so he's going to be fundamentally sound.
True, very true. On your note about Brook Lopez, what we're doing now is we're kind of giving a shove to the roll man instead of dropping completely like in front of him because we've been getting killed on like the alley-oops and stuff.
Yeah.
So what he's doing is we're now dropping and then we're getting closer to that roll man and then or the pick man and then we're kind of like giving him an elbow. And I think that physicality is what's slowing Brook down a little bit because it's hard for him to both get in and then also get on the guy's back hip to try to avoid the in paint pass. So that's a little bit of what I see out there that's changing with Brook. But anyway, my miscellaneous thought is Bobby Portis is the best bench player the Bucks have had in over 10 years. I'm not even joking. I actually did the research on this. So the last Milwaukee Bucks player to get into top 5 of 6-man of the year voting, okay, was Michael Redd in 2003. He got second place in 6-man of the year voting. That was the last time Milwaukee Bucks player was in the top 5 for defense or 6-man of the year. And it's looking like early projections that Bobby Portis isn't going to be in the top 5 for 6-man of the year this year, which is a joke because I know people love the scoring 6 men, but that's bogus. Bobby Portis has some of the best basketball IQ I've ever seen for a 6-man. He knows when to get boards. He knows when to box out. He knows when to go back up for putbacks and when to pass out. He has great basketball IQ, and he absolutely should be in the top 5 for voting for 6-man of the year. But yeah, not since Michael Redd in 2003 have we had a bench player this good.
Yeah, I mean, when people think of 6-man, a lot of people like to point fingers at Lou Will. So I mean, fuck Drake, but yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Lou Will, but that's just like I don't know. I'm sick of him like always being in like the top. He does deserve it some years, but man, Bobby Portis is just on another level for any 6-man in the league this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna go to Jordan Clarkson because the man is averaging like 21 off the bench and like 5 threes a game, which is pretty insane. So,
yeah, that Jazz game I watched, he was just popping off, man.
Oh yeah. We love those shooting guards who can always destroy us. Anyway, so this is a prediction about the post All-Star thread, not about playoffs. We're talking post All-Star game stretch. There's 36 games after the All-Star break. The All-Star break is this weekend, actually. Mm-hmm. So we have 36 games post All-Star break. Where do you think we'll be record-wise, and where do you think we'll be placed in the East?
All things being consistent, aka Drew staying healthy, they could easily place top 3 in the East. East isn't super tough. I mean, the West is like the Big Ten this year. Yeah. It's a bloodbath.
Yep. We are currently 3rd in the East, by the way.
I think we'll probably stay 3rd, maybe move up to 2nd. Mm-hmm. Don't think we'll take the top seed in the East this year. Record-wise, I I could see us sticking around the 2/3 percentage. So winning, what would that be?
24-12.
Yeah, probably around 24-12 again. Maybe a couple more wins because Drew is back.
Yep.
And Giannis is really starting to find his stroke at the line, which is nice.
Yep.
So, again, it comes down to Drew staying healthy, Brook Lopez being able to move quickly on his assignments, defensive switches actually working, and being there on defense, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah.
Not being
Okay.
passive minded.
Yeah, yeah. I predicted this. I looked at the schedule because I guess I kind of cheated because I didn't allow you to do that. But I looked at the schedule. I predicted about 28-8 because we have a lot of softball games. Not gonna lie. Now that I say that, it's gonna be trap games and we're gonna lose all of them. But I predicted 28-8 and I'm second in the East. So yeah.
I agree with that. And it's too far out to kind of predict how the playoffs are going to go.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Playoffs are a whole nother animal once it gets here because the refs just completely start calling the game difference. So.
Okay, all right. Anyway, that's our time today. I guess, do you have any shout-outs? Oh, we might not have time for that.
I guess a quick shout out. It's not really a big one, but don't forget to support your local men's and women's hockey teams this weekend. The boys take on Michigan State, and the girls are going to the WCHA playoffs. So I can't wait to see the women tear it up. I hope they take on the conference championship. They already won the regular season title, so it'd be nice to win a conference championship again. And the men have the Big Ten regular season title on the line this weekend. They're going to need a little bit of help from Minnesota, but I really hope that they can pull out a win. As everyone else is saying, Coley Caulfield for Baker. Get that man a trophy. He's unreal.
I agree. See you next time. I don't know what have we ever had an established outro besides the
I guess we'll see probably around Big Ten after Big Ten tournament time.
Yeah, that's right. The Big Ten tournament is what, next
weekend.
Next weekend, yeah. Okay.
So we'll probably see you sometime after that. I'm hoping to get Joey D'Amato on one of these shows here soon. Big Wisconsin sports fan. Kind of the successor to Superfan at Wisconsin.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping to get Bengo Buck on one of these.
I'd love to get Brad Davison on just to kind of pick his brain about this decision.
I'm not letting him into my house. Sorry. Not sorry, actually. Anyway, see you next time.
See ya.